Okay, it looks like we are live. Hello everybody, welcome to our first live stream, just me and my dad. We are in a very special location today. It's nice to see everyone joining in. We've got 97 people in here already. It'd be good if we can interact with you as much as possible, talk to each other in the chat, and let's just tell everybody where we are.
Okay, so we're on the 118th floor of the Shanghai Tower. It's the tallest observation deck in Shanghai, and it is absolutely amazing. I just can't get the words to tell you what it's like up here. It's incredible.
It's insane, and we will show you outside very shortly.
Yeah.
We just want to give a massive thank you to everybody for supporting us. Sorry, it's a bit loud. You might not be able to hear us very well here, but give a massive thank you to everybody, because we've just absolutely stormed through the 40s in subscribers, the 40,000 mark, and we've just smashed through 50,000. So an enormous thank you to everybody who's supporting us.
Thank you to each and every one of you. We massively appreciate that support. The last couple of months here in China has been a difficult time, but you know, it's great to get the support of everybody.
Definitely, yeah. So this is our first live stream, just us two. We're actually doing it on a mobile phone, but we've got it hooked up on a gimbal, so hopefully it's all good.
Yeah.
Let us know on the side let us know in the comments if you're sort of seeing anything up with the stream, but I think we're good to go.
Yeah, so we're connecting via a Wi-Fi hotspot, hundreds of meters up in the air.
It's a bit mad.
It's absolutely crazy.
This building is 632 meters high, and we're on the 118th floor right now. I think it's time to let everybody have a look outside.
One other tidbit, the elevators go at 45 miles per hour. So this is, what you got to bear in mind is a lot of those buildings, this building right in front of us here was the tallest building in Shanghai until they built this one. And then a lot of these are very tall skyscrapers, but they look like little tiny Lego buildings over up here.
It's just absolutely crazy. Yeah, so this is the second tallest building in Shanghai, but we absolutely dwarf it up here, don't we?
We absolutely do.
Everything looks a little bit surreal up here, and after a bit of a commotion in trying to get up here, they finally let us up, and it's absolutely empty because of the current situation. You have a look, it's just, on a normal day, I'm sure you probably can't even get to the edge to see. And it's just empty, which is really cool. We've got a couple of time lapses set up over there somewhere, and we can't wait. We're actually going to be making a video about being here.
About the whole experience of coming up here and being here. Oh, sorry about that. About the whole experience of being here and coming up here, and you'll see the times. Oh, one of the time lapses is running just over.
Oh yeah, we've done a whole,
So this is our camera running here. We've got a time lapse going, and you can see this is the Pearl Tower, which in itself is a very tall building, but from here it just looks tiny.
Yeah, this is is that the Bund really, over the other side?
It is, yes. All across there is
so I think it's these buildings here are the ones that you see in the very famous Shanghai picture, where you see the Pearl Tower and the skyline.
The river, you know,
so today we kind of just want to try and just interact with you guys in chat as much as possible, as a thank you as well for the 50,000 subscribers. But we also want to touch on a topic that gets slept upon in the West a little bit, in the sense that there's a lot of, obviously, if you've seen our videos before, you will have seen that the news in the West is a little bit tainted towards China, and we want to kind of mention a few of the things that are, you know, good about China that you don't really hear about, or, you know.
Yeah, so it's really about how clean and green the cities are here. So you go to many sort of what are considered to be more developed countries, and you know, sometimes you go to areas of the city and they don't seem that clean, There's a lot of sort of petrol and diesel vehicles there. But over here, you know, they have massive subway systems, which obviously are all electric, so that's really clean. They have, like Shenzhen, where we come from, all the taxis are electric, all the buses are electric. So, you know, these are some of the cleanest cities from a point of view of pollution. And this is something I've never seen in cities abroad. You know, I don't know another city where pretty much all of the public transport is electric. And these are things that just don't get reported in the Western press. You know, they tend to report sort of more negative things on China. They don't see any of the positives. And just on a point of pollution, China have planted a huge amount of trees, a huge amount of forests in parts of China. And again, this is something that just doesn't get mentioned at all.
Yeah, I think, for example, when I first came here, which was just over a year ago, first thing straight off the bat, I was just amazed to see how many people of all ages as well using these single, you know, one person, just any mode of electric transport. For example, you've got electric bikes, which is definitely the most popular way to get around.
Petrol bikes are actually forbidden in Shenzhen and some cities. Not all cities, but some cities.
And then you've got all sorts of electric skateboards, electric scooters, you know, one wheels, all these cool devices. And you see, you know, I don't know a percentage, but a vast amount of people. What makes me laugh is even like you get people up to 60, 70 years old using these modes of transport, and you would just never see that back in the UK.
Yeah, and another thing that the Chinese government is doing to encourage the uptake of electric vehicles is that
I need to change my arm on this side.
If you buy a car in China, it's a diesel or a petrol car, you may have to wait up to a year to get a registration plate, and until you've got a registration plate, you can't legally drive on the road. However, if you buy an electric car, you can get a plate straight away.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
So basically there's this encouragement to push people towards electric cars.
Makes sense.
And there's a couple of Chinese brands of electric car which are really kind of cool. And as you probably all know, Tesla have just opened their factory here because they obviously realise that the Chinese market is such a massive market for electric vehicles. So we give you another look out the window up here.
I just find it nuts.
Just see, it's absolutely amazing. And just so you get a feeling how big Shanghai is, it's a city that has half of the population of the UK. There's over 30...
Of England.
Sorry, of England, yeah. There's over 30 million people in Shanghai. And as you can see from the pictures now, the city goes on and on and on as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, what would be really grateful for is if you are into this, if you are in this stream right now, we do thank you for tuning in. It would be absolutely fantastic if you could push the share button and the like button to help this get out there, as it does really help us out with the algorithms and it hopefully get more people involved. We thought it would be a special location to come up to, you know, what better way to celebrate like us all reaching 50,000 than coming to the tallest point in China. It's kind of just mad that it's hit on the same time as we came to Shanghai, which is very cool. I just seen Alison C type in the chat that Shanghai is very humid. I think you might be mistaken. It's just the fact that we are so high up. It's really misty up here.
Yeah,
down on the ground, it's a really clear day, and
we're more than half a kilometre high.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're almost in the clouds. A few other days we've seen low clouds, and we've actually not been able to see the top of the buildings. But today is an extremely clear day. You can literally see as far as the eye can see.
Yeah. It reminds me, looking down, of one of those architectural models they do when they're building a new city. They build those models to show you how it is. You know, the last time I was here in Shanghai was 8 years ago, and this building wasn't there. And the story behind it is that at that point, the tallest building in Shanghai was the one we showed you earlier.
Yeah, the one with the cutouts.
And it's rumoured that it was bought by a Japanese company. And that kind of annoyed the Chinese people a little bit. So they put plans together to build the Shanghai Tower and to be the tallest building in Shanghai. And another interesting thing is...
Just before, hold that thought. I just want to thank Art Engineering Melvin Co. for the donation. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
They built this building because it's pretty much all glass. They realised it would get super hot in the summertime because, you know, it can hit 40 degrees here in Shanghai in the summer. So what they did, they built like a double skin. So it's got a sort of double skin on the building, and they pump the air conditioning in the outer skin of the building to keep the sort of core. So there's probably a cavity of a couple of meters at least, maybe, and the air conditioning goes around that to keep the building cool because it is all glass.
What was it? Yeah, we found out that, my dad told me something funny about one of the other buildings that was built here as well. They had to, what did they do with the architecture and the glass? Something to do with the glass.
What happened is that they built this building and it was all glass, and on hot days there was some issue where the sun was reflecting off, and if you park your car in a certain place by the building, people were finding that like a lot of the interior of the car had melted because the building was acting like a magnifying glass to the sun. So what they had to do, they had to put some special coating then on the glass to stop that happening. It was just incredible.
Look at this area over here. It almost looks like kind of unreal. You see like the blue and red houses.
So it's quite typical that, I don't know why it is, but a lot of the houses have these blue or red roofs.
Maybe someone can tell us in the comments why that is.
This is something I've only noticed more so in Shanghai. I haven't noticed this so much in Guangzhou or Shenzhen.
Okay, so I just want to give a few shout outs for people joining in the chat. So we've got MN. I do apologise, I can't read the Chinese names, so I do apologise about that. So we've got Bradley Dahl, we've got the Quantum Alchemist. Oh wow, Harper Leo, thank you so much for the donation.
Thanks, Harper.
We're adorable, apparently. We do appreciate that. you must be talking about him. We've got Win Pa, thank you very much for joining. Oh, we've got our sisters in here. Look, my sisters in here.
Emily B.
Emily
M. Yeah, she got married a year and a half ago. I still call her Emily Barrett, but she's now Emily Martin.
We've got Noe Dirk in here. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names, I probably am. Samantha Jenkins, we see you a lot in the comments. Thank you very much for joining. Johnny, Tom Barrett's in as well.
Hi, Tom.
Hello, Tom.
Tom Barrett's my son.
Yeah.
He's my eldest son. He's back in the UK at the moment.
Show your WeChat QR code. Okay, well, we have actually got a link down to our WeChat QR code in the description. So if you do want to support us over there, you can do.
Yeah, we're not able to do it in the live stream because we're on a mobile device.
Yeah, we're live streaming straight from YouTube right now. So we're not using the third-party software that we usually do. Just on that topic as well, all Super Chat questions will be answered. We want to kind of interact with you guys as much as possible. So we do appreciate anything that you are willing to support. Charles Shuer, thank you for joining. We've got over 300 people in here now. Wow, thank you very much. Raf ZH, thank you so much for the generous donation. So we were down this area. Where's Lu Jiazwei?
This is Lu Jiazwei, where that ring road is.
Okay, so
maybe you can see all those cars going around. That's a kind of central area of Shanghai's businessy district there.
In the next sort of week or so, you will see a video from us walking around this walkway here. Basically what it is a massive architecture project that they've just suspended a walkway about 15 meters off the ground, so that instead of having crossings all around the roundabout, they've just whacked up a walkway straight above and sorted that problem, no worries. So don't you just think in China, like unlike anywhere else, they're able to do things like that?
Big time.
Like just to solve little problems, they're able to pump massive amounts of money into it, create loads of jobs, and just like to get over little problems like that.
I mean the infrastructure here is quite amazing. I always use the example that if you take the UK, right, we've been talking about having a high-speed railway for about 12 years and they haven't laid any track. China sort of probably about 10 years ago, started their high-speed rail development. They have approaching probably 40,000 kilometres of high-speed rail now.
It's just
You know,
madness.
it's just incredible.
In China, I think, like especially in Shanghai. I mean, obviously because I've been in Shenzhen for a while, it's kind of become the norm, like the modern city and stuff. But even coming to Shanghai, it's a bit of an up one again with as terms of like how modern it is and things like that, and it just blows your mind, especially being like this high over the city. Just a shout out to Hao Yuan, thank you so much for your generosity. Just again, we'll just give you a look. Oh, I have to turn you around.
Just another thing I'd like to say about Shanghai. I did live there about 8 or 9 years ago. I spent about a year and a half, 2 years in Shanghai, and coming back, I was so enjoy eating the Shenzhen bao.
Oh my
I
days.
was really, I haven't managed to find that in Shenzhen. Absolutely fantastic. And the other thing, the food in Shanghai is more sweet, so it's more like a Western palate. In Shenzhen, in the south, the food's very salty and they don't really like sweet things. So it's lovely to be in Shanghai to go to some of the bakeries and eat the nice sweet cakes, and the food's just sweeter overall, not anywhere near as salty, so it's great to be here.
Absolutely. Just whilst we're on that thought, thank you so much for these super stickers. I do apologise, I can't read the Chinese name, but we do see you there. Thank you very much. As well as my sister Emily Martin has been very generous with a super sticker there as well. Thank you.
Emily.
Yeah, what are you talking about? The Western food?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's much more like a Western palate here in Shanghai than it is down in Shenzhen.
it is, and I've been told that over the time that I've been living in Shenzhen, and even just that I had earlier, it's very noticeably sweeter. Maybe some of you people that are watching do live in Shanghai, or you've been before, and you can relate to what we're talking about. But yeah, it's nice to come here and get your, donuts and your cakes and your things that you're just not used to getting in.
Yeah,
most
Shanghai
parts
has
of
much
China.
more of an international feel. Of course, there are a lot of people from all over the world in Shanghai. There are in Shenzhen, but it seems to be less of an international feel in Shenzhen. In Shenzhen, there are people from all over China there, so it's kind of a mixed city from a point of view of Chinese people, whereas Shenzhen, it has a mix of Chinese people and a mix of international people from just everywhere.
This might be a good question for you. Harper Leo, thank you for your generosity. What are your favourite restaurants in Shanghai?
Oh, okay.
You got to think of the names of them now.
Yeah, that's difficult. Yang's dumplings is definitely my favourite. That's Shenzhen bao.
Let us know if you know Yang's dumplings. We just went to eat there and made a video on it yesterday, which is just these like fried dumplings, like fried on one. Go on, tell us what they're like.
Yeah, so it's a dumpling. Inside is like a British kind of sausage meat. But they then cook it inside a dumpling and they fry it so the bottom becomes crispy. But then all the juice comes out of the pork and wraps. We will have a video about it.
Yeah. We made a video, a whole video about it, because they are very cool.
Another one of my favourite places is not a restaurant, it's a store called Paris Baguette. And they have all like lovely cakes and buns and stuff like that, Chelsea buns, croissants, just lovely.
Let us know where you're all tuning in from as well, because as we did say in our video, sorry, just on that note, Mary and Raymond Ing, thank you ever so much for your generosity. We did try and, so my dad does a live stream at the moment on a Saturday morning, which is with 3 other China YouTubers, and we have had a few comments over the weeks that people in Europe are finding it very difficult to tune in. Because
of the time.
Yeah, because of the time. Obviously, it's hard to cater for every time zone. So this time, we've just had my mum tune in as well. Shout out to Ali.
Hello, Alison, Barrett.
So yeah, we've tried to cater for the European audience this time as well. And obviously, we're from the UK, so we're hoping that as many people from the UK
and our
can tune in.
Saturday live stream, because it's not just us, we have to sort of go along with the other members of the group. and it was decided as a group that those streams will not stay up after they're done.
Let's turn this way.
But in this stream will stay up. Once it's finished, we'll leave it on the channel so you can re-watch it if you wish.
Yeah, so Wimpa, thank you for joining us. Ito, these are getting really difficult to read so fast. Shujie Wu, MN, Alan My Apollo, some funny. Here we go. John Lim 40, Wing Pang. Wow, what a view! You're absolutely right. We've been up here for a couple of hours now, and it's still just absolutely unbelievable, isn't it?
Just to let you know, you're at the highest possible point you can be in a building in Shanghai at the moment.
In China?
In China, yeah.
Yeah, this is the tallest point in China, and it's pretty amazing that we're able to live stream up here, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we purchased a Huawei mobile hotspot.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago.
We got the 5G sort of thing allowing us to do this. So
we are. I mean, Huawei makes some fantastic kit. And
actually, let's talk about what we're doing.
Yeah.
So on, I don't know what day it is. I'm losing track of the days because we're here on Saturday. So we fly back on Wednesday. On Saturday, we're doing we're participating in a pretty cool gig actually. So many of you might know AliExpress. Just a shout out to Mary and Raymond Eng again. Thank you so much. AliExpress is an e-commerce platform. We are going to be holding a live stream event on there, partnering with DJI
and Huawei.
And we're going to be sort of it's a promotion event, and we're going to be on there. So we will sort of mention it in another video, and if I do remember, we'll put it in the description to this video as well.
You can have a look at us on there. It's a 3-hour event actually. It's not on our channel, but yeah, it is something that we do. Yeah,
we'll probably try and make a video of it as well. You know, when I was up the Shard in London, I actually saw someone propose in front of the window, which was quite cool. Yeah. So we've been going. We're gonna hopefully hold this for about an hour, and then I think hopefully, I don't know if it will be dark by then actually, because it would be good if we could show you the dark view as well.
Yeah, we're quite excited about seeing what it's like when the sun goes down here. It'll be pretty cool, I think.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. So yeah, we are on the Shanghai Tower. yeah.
So, would you like to say hello to
say hello on the live stream.
Hello.
Okay, so Chinese guy here is actually looking at the stream while we're live streaming right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I was myself.
Okay, cool. So yeah.
Good to see you, man.
We are slowly starting to get recognised a little bit in China now.
Yeah.
A couple of people want their photos with us and things because it seems to become a bit of a thing in certain parts of China.
It seems Guelo60 is become a bit of a flipping famous person in our chat here. He's getting a lot of comments. I don't know if he's tuned in.
Yeah, sadly, he's stuck somewhere at the moment.
There we go. We've got a good question here by the looks of it.
Okay, let's have a look.
Okay, so it's about sending people masks back in the UK. We are working on that.
Yeah, DHL at the moment are offering special rates, but there are some things that you have to do. You have to make sure they are proper masks, so they have to have the proper certification. So we are trying to work that out at the moment for our family back in the UK.
Yeah, because it's upsetting to see a lot of people trying to profit from this situation. So we want to sort of help out where we can. So let's try and touch on the topic we were thinking about earlier. So, for example, there's a lot of things here that get portrayed in a negative way, which are actually very positive things. I remember when I first came here, I made a video you may or may not have seen around a Chinese park, and the culture around parks here is very different to what it is in the UK anyway. I think people in the UK are just too lazy to get up early, to be honest, most people. But here you see a plethora of different activities going on in the park. You see hundreds of people getting involved at 6-7 a.m. in the park, What sort of things are they doing?
They're doing dancing, they're doing Tai Chi, they're playing Mahjong, they're playing drafts and chess.
There's people in the outside gym as well.
Little kids fishing in the ponds. Yeah, the outside gyms. Yeah.
Yeah, and I even saw, when I was there, I saw a team of volunteers that were going around litter picking at 7 in the morning. So, it's just, that's phenomenal, really. I thought that was really nice to see. And I had a few comments on there about people really surprised at how clean it was. And that's one thing I think, you can't say we've seen a lot of rural China. You've been around more than I have.
I've been a little bit, but yeah, I mean, the cities here, like many years ago in the UK, you used to see people pushing like dustbins around and picking up litter, and you still get that here. There's a lot of sort of middle-aged and elderly people who go around, they're litter pickers. You see them all over the city, and it keeps the city really clean. That's something you don't see in the UK anymore, It's,
Yeah, I mean, every time you go out in the morning, you see people on every street, clearing off even leaves, things like that. And it's two good things. It keeps people in a job, and it keeps the streets clean, and it keeps the streets incredibly clean here. Like, everywhere you go, almost everywhere you go in Shenzhen specifically, is pretty immaculate. It kind of emulates like what I think of Japan.
Yeah. I haven't been to Japan, so I can't really comment on that. But it does seem to Japan. But here, the cities are very, very clean, and they're well kept. I mean, you come to Shanghai, and the streets and that, you see all the green trees, all the grass is nicely cut and everything, and it really is, amazing, really. If ever you haven't been here, and sometimes this is what I get a little annoyed about, is you'll get many people who kind of rubbish China, and they've never actually been here and seen it themselves.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then you do get some commenters saying, I thought China was a sort of backwards old country, and then they've actually visited here and they've been blown away by what they've seen, because it is not what people... All through my childhood, I grew up, and the images I saw on the TV were old China. So I saw images of Beijing with everybody riding bicycles, wearing grey clothes and carrying their little red book. And when I first arrived in Shanghai about 12 years ago now, I just couldn't believe it. It was like such a modern city then. And something else that blew my mind this time I come back, when I left Shanghai maybe 8-9 years ago, I haven't been back since. And at that time, I think the metro lines, the underground lines, it was probably 8 or 9. They have now got 20 lines.
20 lines.
And the central where they all cross over, it's actually like a maze. It's just incredible.
It is pretty bonkers. I mean, the sheer scale of architecture here just blows your mind. Like, it's hard to get your head around when you're in the site. Like, for example, this building, like the amount of floor space in this building is just mind-boggling.
I mean, it goes down about,
I was just about to
3
say,
or 4 levels?
More than that, I think, most places go down about 3 or 4 levels, big buildings. And when you go into the metro, sometimes you get escalators down for like,
it must be 20 or 30 metres down, And that's quite typical of when they build buildings here. They will build 3 or 4 stories underground. We've been to shopping centres in Shenzhen where there's 3 or 4 levels of car park underneath the building. Ground,
I didn't really realise anyone made such use of underground until I came to China. I didn't really know that was obviously I've seen underground car parks before, but here is just on a different level.
So this is the main river that runs through Shanghai. Maybe
do you know what it's called?
I don't know what it's called actually. Maybe somebody can tell us in the comments. But as you can see, maybe there's a lot of sort of barges that run up and down the river. They still use the river to move a lot of freight around actually in China. So they're very sort of innovative. We don't use boats so much anymore in the UK, but here they still use plenty of boats and barges to move things around.
Absolute. Oh, here we go. Huangpu River. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Huangpu.
Thank you very much for letting us know.
Yeah, that's.
Once again, just take a look at the size of these buildings from here. It's like when you're down on the floor, for example, hold on, let me see if I can point to it. These buildings here look absolutely enormous. And right now, when you're down on the floor, and now it's just laughable how small they look. We actually got up here and we started laughing because it's just stupid.
Yeah, we just couldn't take it in when we first got here, because we went up the tallest building in Guangzhou when we're in Guangzhou. Actually, we have got a video about that on our channel, but it's actually nothing compared to this.
No, nothing.
This just is unbelievable. Even the Pearl Tower looks tiny from here, and that's quite a huge building. Yeah, that's probably the most famous sort of tower in Shanghai, the Pearl Tower, the Pearl TV Tower.
Yeah, I think
here, it's just incredible. I just can't get my head around the view, really.
Right, we're just going to want to give a shout out to the people who are still in here. Sync Master, Shung Tang, Samantha Jenkins, she's still in here.
Hi, Samantha.
Did you notice the ceiling in the lift? I'm not sure what you mean. In the lift up here?
The elevator, yeah? I didn't.
I didn't notice it actually.
No. We were a bit focused on how fast
How
we were
fast
going.
it is going, because it goes like 40
meters a second.
Yeah, 45 mile an hour in an elevator. What do you mean? What's
Actually,
that about?
It was quicker to get to the 118th floor here than the 14th floor in our apartment block, I think.
That's pretty nuts. So thank you all again for 50,000 subscribers. It's pretty unbelievable.
So appreciate that.
I've just had my mum asked to shout out my nan and grandpa. So Barbara and Brian, if you're watching, hello to you. I'm sure you are. It's pretty cool to see how many people are joining in here. We just want to say we are trying to interact with you guys as much as possible. We do appreciate any support. All super chat questions will be answered, as well as we have had a few people asking if the WeChat code can be shown on screen, but there is a link down to it below.
Unfortunately, because we're streaming from a mobile device, we're not able to show the WeChat code. So.
How cool is it though that you can do this at such a height, just so easy? Like technology has advanced so much.
Just 5 years ago, this just wouldn't be possible, would it?
No, not at all. It seems we've had quite a few comments about the father and son relationship. Everyone. Oh, I said Barbara and Peter.
Peter and Barbara. Hello to Barbara and Brian. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. If you're watching.
The technology has just advanced so much, and it just really opens your eyes to it when you're here, specifically. You know, one thing that really mind boggles me. So. Back to what we were kind of talking about earlier. In the West, I've seen a lot of articles that are like banging on about China being the biggest polluters in the world, right? And Shenzhen is one of the greenest places I've ever seen in terms of greenest cities I've ever seen. Like, for example, the amount of people who are using fully electric transport, you know, metro systems, buses, taxis, all of them are fully electric. Half of the cars on the road are electric. A lot of people are using sort of one person, you know, electric bikes and things like I mentioned earlier, skateboards and what have you.
With the public transport as well, it's because it's so cheap. You know, in all the major cities in China, the public transport is very cheap. So, take for instance, you go to London, it costs you maybe £2 or £3 to do a few stops. Or maybe £5 for a day card. Here, you can literally be on there an hour to an hour and a half, go right from one side of the city to the other. It costs you less than £1.
Yeah, it's absolutely mad.
Because it's that sort of circle where, because it's cheap, everybody uses it.
Yeah,
because everybody uses it, it's cheap.
It's cheap.
And it's also very, very modern, because here the government really do invest in infrastructure.
Oh, they do.
And they do that because they see it betters lives of the people, you know.
That's it.
And train journeys. You know, I used to live in Aylesbury. It cost me £50 to get to London.
Yeah, and how long is that journey? An hour on a slow train as well.
For £50 here, I can do about 2,500 kilometres on
a high-speed rail.
doing like 250 kilometers an hour, 300 kilometers an hour. You know?
Yeah, there's no incentive at all to use public transport in a lot of Western countries, because sometimes it even a lot of the time it costs more than it would if you just went in your own car.
Yeah.
And go on.
Well, even the bus here, right, in Shenzhen, yeah, is 2 yuan.
2 yuan.
Anywhere.
That's like 30 cents.
Yeah. 2 yuan anywhere you want to go, and everything is used electronic payment. You don't even have to carry change.
Oh my days.
It's just like everything electronic payment. Get on the bus, ching, scan your code, you're done.
Yeah.
So convenient.
That's another thing. I've kind of gotten so used to it about using WeChat now. I think if I go back to England now and I've got to use cash, I'm going to be like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean cash? It's like everything is just WeChat.
Yeah.
And you do get a lot of people that say, oh yeah, but you know, they're taking all your privacy. But I'm sure you've got a bit to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think here, you know, people really don't get so concerned about their privacy, in a sense that they would rather be safe and have convenience. And you know, in reality, when you ask people in the UK, by them knowing where you are with your mobile, I've lost privacy. But when you push it, they don't really know why.
It's almost like the mob mentality of everybody saying, oh, privacy, and that's what leads everyone else to be like, oh no, you know, we can't let the government track us. But little do most people know. I'd say a lot of people aren't aware just how much data Google and these big corporations are taking about you.
Yeah.
You know, when you sign those, you know, I agree to these terms and conditions, you're basically signing your life away with privacy, aren't you? Data is the most valuable thing in the world. And go on, even like Tesco and stuff, they know, big supermarkets, they know more about your shopping habits than you do.
Yourself, yeah, that's right. You know, but here people don't have a problem with that, because it brings them safety and it brings them convenience. You know, I can look on Taobao or Jingdong here, and it'll know what I've been looking at, and it'll make some recommendations. It sells me more stuff, and I don't really have a problem with that, because it will recommend me good stuff.
Exactly.
You know, and then they use that data to sort of see what people are buying in certain areas, so they can stock the convenience stores with those goods that are more in demand. And it just blows your mind. You know, you can order stuff in the morning in most places, and it's delivered in the afternoon or the next day at the latest. They have such a fantastic logistics network. It just blows your mind. And the convenience of living here, I mean, I guess it's like that in some of the big cities in the UK, but certainly here in all the cities, the convenience of stuff is just amazing, really.
It is. And you know what frustrates me a little bit sometimes is, you know, you get a lot in the comments or from other people that we're China shills, apparently, because
China shills,
you know,
paid by the CCP.
You know what it is? It's sometimes if you feel like the other side of the coin is being unfairly treated, it makes you want to tell that side of the story, and that's all we're doing. We're telling the other side of the story, which doesn't get shown to people that haven't been here.
Yeah, it's normally the people who are negative about it have never been here.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Hodge Peng, for the generous donation there. Guelo, which building is this? I'm late. This
is the Shanghai Tower, but we're not Guelo, we're the Barrett channel. But that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call us Guelo, no worries.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, what were we just on? I've lost my train of thought now.
Oh, I can't remember.
Talking about the convenience.
Yeah, it's convenience. It's shills.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
People just are constantly like, yeah, you know, you're being a China shill, and I just can't. It just frustrates me a bit, because we're just telling the other side of the story, you know, and people like to. Sometimes it's a little bit frustrating, because you wanna approach the positive side, but sometimes I feel myself getting dragged down into the negative side, which I do try and keep on top of as much as possible. We've got 420 people in here at the moment.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and supporting. That's absolutely fantastic.
Just a shout out to a few more people. We've got Chung Woo in here, Mariah Lee, Barry Allen, take off your mask. I don't think so.
We're not allowed to, actually. There are parts now of China where you can, but right now we're not allowed to in this building.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't even want to anyway. You know, obviously the culture from where you're from may be a lot different, and we do have a few views on that, which we're not going to currently talk about, as we'll get that big yellow sign
demonetized. Yeah,
so we won't touch on that. But these comments are going too fast. I can't shout everyone out. I'm so sorry. Sunbird, thank you for joining. Paradise Walk. HOR 104. Everyone's talking about Guelo, man. Everyone seems like Guelo. Oh, look, we've got this golden hour.
Yeah.
Hodge Peng, thank you very much. I meant it in a funny way. Thanks for your video. No worries, my friend. Fallen Sam, thank you for joining us. Don Estelle, if you are enjoying this stream, look. Girls would love this. They got the golden hour for photos, look.
Yeah.
If you are enjoying the stream, it would be a great help to us if you do want to push that like button. We would appreciate that immensely. It will help us get the message out a bit. We are actually going to be posting this one as a video, because the other streams, it was a group decision to not put those online. Whereas we are deciding, because this is our own one, of course we can make our own decisions, so we're going to be posting this one as a video.
And we hope to be doing more of our own live streams in the future. If it works out, we're going to try and get a regular weekly date to stream.
We were basically just going to see if this goes well, and obviously, you know, there's a lot of people tuning in, so we do appreciate that a lot.
It's just blown my mind that we've got so many people who are interested in us.
I know, it doesn't really feel real. Thank you all so much. Chuang Li, thank you so much for the €5. I wish coffee in Shanghai was not so expensive.
Yeah. Oh, just on coffee in Shanghai, that's something that I really like about Shanghai. There's literally so many independent coffee shops everywhere.
It almost reminds me of the UK a bit.
Yeah, you've obviously got the Luckin and Starbucks, which are everywhere. They're the same in Shenzhen, but here in Shanghai, there's so many little like independent coffee stores.
It's really cool. It's like quirky
really
little places.
And the coffee is so good, but yeah, it is a little bit expensive.
We do, I feel so sorry for all the businesses that are shutting down at the moment. I can imagine a lot of these little independent coffee stores are struggling at the moment. So obviously all of you stay safe at this time. Please wear a mask wherever you are. And thank you ever so much God, it's small. Derek X Pair for the €2. Would you do a video with Nathan Rich? Okay, well.
Yeah, I
course.
guess we would. I mean, this guy, Nathan Rich, is a very, very intelligent guy, obviously.
Just let everyone know who he is.
He's a YouTuber, and he gets bashed a lot for being very pro-Chinese. But I find his videos very interesting. He's a very intense guy. But his research seems to be absolutely top-notch. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem doing a video with Nathan.
If he approached us, we'd be definitely open to that.
Yeah.
A funny question from Yin Ho Kuo. Quick question, how is the supply of toilet paper over there?
No issue at all. This is something that's kind of baffling me. Why there's this sort of obsession with toilet paper in certain countries? It's actually never been an issue here. You go into the supermarket, the shelves are full of it. You can buy as much as you want.
It blows my mind about this toilet paper thing.
I don't really understand the toilet paper thing at all.
I'm seeing some funny memes and videos online of people. I saw one earlier of people playing poker and they were betting toilet rolls.
Yeah, the stakes with toilet rolls.
Which I just, you know what I think? I think it's really interesting this time about the psychology of people. Everyone seems to do what everyone else does, and people don't want to be buying toilet rolls, but it forces everyone to, because everyone else is doing it. And it's just a spiral effect. And it really hurts the people who are being sensible, so it's a shame on those. Hodge Peng, thank you ever so much. You're being very generous today.
Thank you.
I have Nathan Rich's WeChat in case you need it. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
So we are going to be wrapping this up in about 15 minutes time. We've been going for 45 minutes. Once again, thank you all so much for joining in. You all should do a live stream here at night.
Yeah, well, it'd be good. We do plan to come back to Shanghai again, because We actually booked 5 days here, and we thought that would be plenty, but it turns out it's not nowhere near long enough. Other thing, we are planning to visit other locations in China. So if you want to leave in the comments anything that if you want us to come to your city, you tell us where it's good. Another place we'd like to go is Hangzhou. I'd like to go up to Xinjiang. I'd also like to go to Sichuan.
I'd like to go to some rural places as well. I really want to visit one of the top places in China on my bucket list is the place where, I don't know if you've seen in Avatar, the Avatar Mountains. I think it's called like, I can't remember. Someone can let me know. I can't remember where. The Avatar Mountains. I'm sure that people will probably know that anyway.
I mean, again, you know, people in the West, I think, don't actually get how big China is. You can take a flight for 5 hours and you're still in China. The place is absolutely huge, and different parts of China, the culture's different, the food's different. Oh, that's somewhere else you want to go as well. These Chongqing, isn't it? Street food videos. You know, you got areas that eat wheat noodles, areas that eat rice noodles. You've got areas that like sweet food, areas that like spicy food. It is so different from one area to another.
It's so diverse.
You know, the dialect is different that's spoken, and yeah, it's just unbelievable how diverse China is.
Okay, so Hodge Peng, thank you ever so much for the super chat again.
Yeah, you're top man.
You know, we are answering every super chat question that comes in. We are trying to get others as well, but there's just the comment are flooding through, so I'm sorry if we can't answer your question. I'm from Shanghai, but stuck in New York now. Stay safe.
Oh.
Wow, well, you need to stay safe as well, brother, because obviously, you know, times are getting tough.
Off a bit more in New York.
Over there.
Things are cooling down.
Toilet rolls one day will become a currency. Thanks, guys, for loving China from the UK. I can't read your name. I do apologise, but thank you so much for being so generous.
Oh, China's amazing. You know, if you haven't been to China, you need to put it on your bucket list. But it's hard to say China is one thing because there's so many different parts and they're so different. The culture and everything, like we've just been saying, you know, it is really, really. Shanghai is very different to Guangzhou. Is very different to Shenzhen. Is very different to Beijing.
It's quite unusual in Europe, or you know, people where I'm from anyway. It's quite unusual that someone wouldn't have gone outside their own country, but here I see a lot of people, you know, my age and older, who would say, yeah, I've never left China, but I've travelled a bit around China, because they've got so many different places to visit that are all different landscape, different culture, different food, everything we've just talked about, and they can still speak Mandarin. So I feel like, you know, fair play to them. What's the reason to leave until you've done most of your own country?
It is such a huge country.
And it makes sense as well, because you know, most Chinese people are very proud of their country, very patriotic. Yeah. So, you know, I'm sure they do want to see every nook and cranny of their country. So, I can definitely understand it. We've got the whole floor. So we are, just to let you all know, I'm sure you know by now, but we are in the Shanghai Tower, which is the tallest building in China, and we're stood on the observation deck, and we've got it to ourselves.
Almost, yeah. It's the 118th floor, and we've almost got it to ourselves. It's absolutely. I just still can't get my breath about the view. Whichever direction you look, you can see city, and that just shows you just how big Shanghai really is.
Derek Pear, thank you for the generosity.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, what were you saying?
I say, you know, like I said earlier, it's a city of 30 million people, and you know, it's half of the population of the UK, and that's in just one city.
I'd love, you know, one thing that makes me laugh as well, I forgot to mention this. In England, I lived about 2 hours in the car away from my grandparents. And I thought that's really far. I thought, wow, you know, I live pretty far from my grandparents. I knew a lot of my friends lived, you know, around the corner. Here, you're actually considered just round the corner if you live 2 hours away.
Yeah, many people will live in different provinces which are like hours and hours away, you know, 1,000 kilometres away. And it's quite normal here that in sort of more rural areas, families will have, and they will leave their children with the grandparents, or they go to work in a city maybe 1,500 kilometers away. And a lot of time they only go back once or twice a year, you know, Chinese New Year, when pretty much the whole of industry in China shuts down, and they will go back and spend time with their family and their kids, you know.
Melvin Coe, love from Singapore. You guys have our support. Thank you ever so much, my friend. Thank you for your generosity. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like people, like for example, my girlfriend lives 5 hours on the high-speed rail away from her parents. And because it's in the same province, she's considered to live pretty close. And, you know, she goes back maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And I think that's a lot. You know, I think that the culture in a lot, as in which is great, don't get me wrong. But it's a lot more than I would consider most people in the UK to visit their parents if they lived that far away. But the whole culture around family, you know, family is number one in China.
It's something that is a little bit different to most in the UK. Family are very, very close here in China.
Extremely close.
You know, especially, you know, and grandparents live with parents who live with children, you know.
That's one very big difference.
When a woman gets married in China, it's quite often they will then move in with their husband's parents, and then when they have children, that husband's parents will take care of the children. Not everywhere, but it is still very common in a lot of places, that is.
Yeah, you hear a lot of foreigners, you know, foreigners to China come over here, and they'll get, you know, they'll have a Chinese wife, etc., and then down the line they'll have their parents. The Chinese person's parents need to move, well, have to move in, which is just very different to what we're used to in the West. You know, this is something that we're just observing the culture. We're not going to give you our opinion on it or anything, because it, you know, everyone's going to think differently. But we just like to observe the differences. Outlier Jack, have your girlfriend been in China? Yeah, she's Chinese. Thank you for Patricia Birch for joining us. Van Long Su. There's a lot of Chinese comments coming in. I'm afraid I can't read Chinese, so I can't read those. Thank you for joining. Samantha Jenkins is still in here. ZK Ling, Derek Pear. Can you invest in real estate as a foreigner in China?
I don't think you. I think
no, you can't buy a house.
Yeah, actually, Chinese can't buy a house. They're on a 70-year lease.
Oh yeah.
But I think maybe as a business investor you can buy into real estate, but I'm not 100% sure about that. That may be. So one of the Chinese viewers will have to sort of comment on that and give us the answer. I'm not 100% sure, but I know certainly for Chinese people, they buy a 70-year lease on a property.
Yeah.
Because technically the land is owned by the state.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed here that's very different into where we come from as well is, you know, I've been in times where I'm pretty tight when it comes to finances, and I'm able to live almost in the center of the city for a very low budget. And that's kind of, it's almost like if you live in here, you can live as rich as you want, or you can live, you know, almost as little as you want, which is almost very different to where, you know, like London and things like that.
Yeah, something quite interesting here is that the property to buy in the cities is very expensive. It's on par with most big Western cities, but the rent doesn't sort of tie up with the cost here. So the rent in a city here is far cheaper than it would be in the US or the UK, even though the purchase price would be similar.
Yeah.
The rent, and another big thing here, when you rent a property, you don't have like council tax on the top. And then take, for instance, your utilities. They're way cheaper here than in Europe. I don't know about the US, but I think gas here is about between a half and a third of what it costs in the UK, and electricity is much cheaper as well. So it is a lot cheaper to live here.
We've had a lot of comments. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, and another thing, if you look at food, so in the UK, if you want to eat in a restaurant, you know, unless you go to sort of McDonald's or KFC, it isn't really that cheap. But here, you can go out to a restaurant and you can eat out 3-4 times a week without breaking the bank.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I really love about being here.
You can get some really good food at a very reasonable price here.
Yeah.
Shanghai, I feel, is a little bit more expensive than Shenzhen, but it's not hugely expensive compared to if you were eating in restaurants in Western
It would
countries.
absolutely break the bank if you wanted to eat out every night, every other night in the UK. And, you know, you get poor quality food half the time.
If you pay cheap.
If you pay cheap. And here, you know, I can have fun with my friends, I can go out pretty often, and, you know, I'm not breaking the bank too much. And it's really nice. It's one of the things I really like about being here. As well as in Shenzhen as well. You know, you've got the weather to go with it, so you can chill outside late at night most of the year. And, you know, in the UK it's extremely cold and it's dark at 4 p.m. most, you know, in the winter time.
Shanghai's a little similar to the UK, so
yeah, with
in
weather,
the summer it gets pretty warm. You know, it can. I was here maybe 9 years ago, 10 years ago, and hit 40 degrees, 42 in the summer. That was a sort of freaky one. But it gets pretty warm. But in the winter it gets close to 0 degrees here in Shanghai, and that feels a lot colder because the apartments don't have any heating, so you have to buy like portable heaters. So it does feel quite cold in Shanghai in winter time. But I think this year has been pretty mild. It seems. I mean, it's 20s in the day here. It goes down to about 10 at night at the moment, and we're in March. So
just giving you all a look out the window because
starting to.
Don't forget to look at the lift ceiling on the way down. Samantha, we will definitely.
We definitely will.
You know, we are going to be wrapping this up extremely shortly. Once again, just a big thank you to everyone joining us. We can't answer all your questions in the comments, but we do appreciate them coming in. If you do definitely want your question answered, drop a super chat and we'll be sure to answer it. As well as there is a QR code to our WeChat down below.
While we've been here in Shanghai, we've filmed so far probably about 7 or 8 videos.
Yeah.
And we may be doing another couple before we leave. So, you know, over the next few weeks, we will be uploading a lot of those videos. We've got some funny ones, some sort of, you know, informative ones. So, you know, be sure to keep checking and having a look for them and see all what we got up to while we've been here in Shanghai.
Yeah, as we've said time and time again, you know, because of the current situation, we have becoming a bit of a news channel, and we didn't really want to be doing that, but that's what people were wanting to see. So we're trying to diversify a little bit. We do actually have a second channel as well, which we have recently started up, which is all about technology. We're going to be doing reviews, unboxings, you know, everything to do with what your typical technology channel is.
And it seems from the comments on a lot of our videos, people want us to go to different places in China. So we hope to be doing a little bit more of that, you know, this year. Once things have calmed down and got a little bit more back to normal, we do plan to visit some various locations. As I said earlier, if you want us to come to your location, your city, drop us a comment and we'll consider. We may even put a poll up at some time.
That's a good idea.
We'll give you a choice of maybe 3 or 4 cities, and the one that gets the most votes, that's where we'll head.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, there's a lot of viewers from China watching as well. So if any of you are from the city that we choose to go to, it'd be great to hear some recommendations.
Yeah.
To see, you know, because we've never been there, so we need recommendations. Thank you so much again to Hodgepeng. You are a very generous gentleman. Good night, guys. Have a great trip in Shanghai. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
So we are coming to close this very shortly. Just give you one last couple of looks at the city. Yeah. We've, as I said at the start, we've got a couple of great time lapses up, and we will have a video up about, you know, visiting this building. So we will be running these. And
we will have the time lapse of the sun going down and all the lights coming on in the city. So yeah, please check back and have a look at that when it's off. But it's just an amazing view. If ever you're in Shanghai, please don't miss it. It's not cheap to come up here, but it's not expensive. It costs, 360 yuan for 2 of us, which is about 360 yuan.
You know, $50 US, something like that.
Yeah, so it's...
You can buy property. Hodgepeng again, thank you, my man. And you can buy property with 1 year work or living history. Well, we obviously need to fact check because we weren't aware of that, but thanks for enlightening us on that.
Yeah. But yeah, if you do come here, it's about $50 US, but it is, I can assure you, it is definitely worth coming up because I've never experienced, I've been up a lot of tall buildings in my lifetime, but I've never experienced anything quite like this. And I think it's because the city is so big. Whichever way you look, you can see city. And that just blows my mind.
I know, yeah, we have, we were getting ready for this live stream as soon as we came up, so we haven't had a proper chance to just sit here and look at it and take it in, which we will be doing after we close this.
The lights are just coming on the top of those buildings down here, look.
I think what you're going to have to, I think that's just a call for everyone. You're going to have to watch the video when it comes out.
Yeah.
I can't say when that's going to be, but hopefully soon.
Within the next couple of weeks with a bit of luck.
What's brilliant as well, I don't know if you know the YouTuber Simon Yu. He's actually a Chinese guy who speaks extremely good English, and we have done an interview with him. Well, my dad did an interview with him. It's about 40 minutes long, so you guys that are into sort of more long haul conversation, it'll be one for you to watch out for.
It might be 2 or 3 weeks before we get there, because what we plan to do is do a full translation, so it'll be in English and in Chinese. The interview is in English, but we're going to subtitle it with Chinese because we do have a lot of Chinese viewers, and we want them to be able to take part and listen and be able to understand it all. Yeah,
we appreciate you all tuning in. I think we're going to wrap this up now. It's just gone an hour, so thank you all very much. Any last words?
Yeah, we really appreciate you all for tuning in. We're absolutely over the moon that so many people, come in and tune in to watch. So
yeah, we didn't really expect that. We will definitely be doing more of these. And we'll try and keep them like this, where we walk around, because I think...
Yeah, it seems people like us to see different scenery and stuff like that.
I think it's a lot more interesting than just sitting in one place. But, let us know how it was, because we can't see it.
What we'll do, as it's starting to get dark now and all the lights are coming on, we'll give you a quick look, but what we'll do, because it's going to be another half an hour before the lights are all fully on, we'll post some pictures on our Instagram and Twitter feeds, all the lights. So be sure to check out our social feeds for Instagram and Twitter down below in the description. And within an hour or two, we'll have some pictures posted.
I'll post a time lapse on there of it going from light to dark and a couple of pictures, and it's going to be really impressive. So make sure you follow us over there. And once again, thank you all. Keep supporting us. We do appreciate it. And thank you all for the generosity on your donations. Once again, the WeChat QR code is down below. This is going to be staying up as a video. One's just come in through there. I promise this is my last plug. Peace out. Thank you again, Hodgepeng.
Thank you, my man.
You are a very generous man. So, okay, take care. We'll see you in the next one.
As always, take care.
Bye-bye.